Colin Clark shared a moment on Sunday that a lot of people know all too well and wish they didn't. He opened Instagram, posted a carousel of photos with his golden retriever, and let the world know that his longtime companion had passed away. It wasn't a flashy post. No long essay, no dramatic filter, just a simple caption. "So long, my friend." And a series of pictures that told the story of a life spent side by side with a dog that clearly meant everything to him. Within minutes, the comments began to fill up, not just from friends back home, but from people his sister has connected with on a much bigger stage. Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark was there almost immediately. "Love you both," she wrote, a short sentence that carried a lot of weight. Another familiar name from the Fever, Sophie followed soon after with the absolute worst hang in there. It was a kind of quick, instinctive support you see when someone in your circle loses something that isn't just a pet, but family. If you slid through Colin's post, one image in particular stopped people in their tracks. It showed him as a little kid, sitting on the floor next to the golden retriever, hugging the dog with both arms and smiling straight at the camera. It looks like the kind of photo every family is tucked away in a frame somewhere. The dog probably still growing into its paws, the kid still growing into his own life. Under that specific picture, Caitlin Clark added another comment. "Second photo is my fave of you too." That line did two things at once. It pointed everyone to the backstory, that this wasn't a dog they had for a summer or two, and it signaled that she'd lived those years right alongside her brother and that retriever. Later in the slide, there was a short video. The same dog, now older, identified in the comments as Bella, running down a snowy sidewalk with that clumsy, full-body joy that golden retrievers do better than almost any breed. Her tail was swinging, her paws tossing up small clouds of snow. From off-camera, a woman's voice called her name. It was a tiny, warm detail inside a sad announcement, and it hit people harder than any long caption could have. The comment section filled up quickly with broken heart emojis and stories from fans about their own dogs. That's what happens when someone with even a little bit of public visibility posts something like this. It stops being just their loss and becomes a thread pulling on thousands of similar memories. To many of Caitlin's followers, Colin is more than just her brother. They've seen him in the background of family shots, heard his name in interviews, noticed the constant references to how close the Clark family is. Seeing him say goodbye to Bella reminded people that behind all the packed arenas and TV broadcasts, there's a still Midwestern family that goes through the same things as everyone else. It also came at a time when Caitlin Clark's year has already been physically draining and emotionally heavy. This WNBA season was supposed to be her grand professional launch, the number one pick coming off a record-breaking college career at Iowa, moving into the league with more attention than any rookie in recent memory. Instead, it turned into a stop-and-start grind of injuries, rehabs, and unanswered questions. The first big setback came early, on May 24th, in what turned into a tight 90-88 loss to New York Liberty. Clark went down with a quadriceps injury. It wasn't dirty, and it wasn't necessarily dramatic in real time, but the aftermath was. The Fever had to shut her down for 5 games. For a player used to carrying huge minutes and having the ball in her hands constantly, being forced to sit and watch in street clothes that early in the season was brutal. She returned in June, but nothing really felt stable after that. Some nights she looked like herself, pulling up from deep, firing cross-court passes, pushing the pace. Other nights, the rhythm just wasn't there. Her minutes were managed carefully, and she looked like someone playing through a body that wasn't quite cooperating. That's the part fans don't always see. The hours of treatment before and after games, the tightness that never fully goes away, the fear of taking the wrong step and feeling something grab again. By mid-July, things came to another breaking point. On July 15th, in an 85-77 win over Connecticut Sun, the game got chippy, physical, and emotional the way late-season matchups between playoff contenders often do. Somewhere in the middle of that intensity, Clark suffered a groin injury. It wasn't one of those injuries where everyone immediately sees and they go the wrong direction and gasps. It was more of a keep playing, feel it get worse, and then suddenly you can't go kind of situation. Medical evaluations after that didn't produce the instant clarity everyone was hoping for. There was no easy timetable like 2 weeks or for games. Instead, the label came back vague and ominous, out indefinitely. Fans spent the next few weeks in limbo. Every new report, every practice photo, every hint from Fever or from Clark's own social media was combed through for signs. Is she moving well? Is she smiling? Is there a brace? Could she be back in time to help push for a playoff spot? The hope dragged into late August and early September. And then, finally, Caitlin Clark made official. On September 5th, she posted an emotional message on Instagram announcing she was shutting it down for the rest of the season. The exact words have been paraphrased and shared 1,000 times, but the heart of it was this. She wanted to be out there. Her mind still wanted to compete. Her body wasn't letting her. For an ultra-competitive player who has always defined herself by what she does on the floor, that kind of call is harder than any contested three. She thanked fans for their support, talked about how proud she was of her teammates, and promised to attack rehab with the same intensity she brings to games. It was the right call medically. It didn't make it hurt less for her or for the people who were tuning in night after night to watch the Fever. Against that background, Colin's post about Bella's passing landed differently than just a standard "my dog died" update. For Caitlin, it added another emotional layer to a year that has already asked a lot of her. When you're rehabbing an injury, your world shrinks fast. Your days become a cycle of appointments, exercises, ice, rest, repeat. The adrenaline of game days is gone, replaced by the slower, lonelier grind of healing. Fans still see you as Caitlin Clark, superstar, but your day-to-day life is more like a person in a training room doing the same band exercise for 4th week in a row. In that kind of vulnerable space, things that might otherwise be routine, like losing an aging family dog, can hit even harder. Bella, from that childhood picture, had clearly been around for a big part of Clark kids' lives. She was part of the background in the story long before Caitlin became a household name. Seeing that loss now not only humanizes the entire Clark family, but it reminds people that these athletes deal with regular life grief on top of public life pressure. The outpouring of support for Colin under that post, including from WNBA players like Sophie Cunningham, also says something about the bond inside that Indiana Fever locker room. Cunningham's message, "The absolute worst hang in there," is the kind of thing you text your friend, not just something you drop under a public post. It shows that the relationships they built over the season extend beyond pick-and-roll sets and film sessions. For Sophie, who is a veteran and has been through the grind of long seasons, coaching changes, trades, playoff pushes, and injuries, seeing her new superstar teammate hurting in multiple ways and support her family is part of that unspoken role vets take on. Be there for the younger players when the cameras aren't. The fans watching all this unfold online get a very raw, very honest picture of what life is really like for pro athletes. On one end, you see Caitlin Clark hitting game winners, leading college basketball in scoring, getting drafted first overall, signing big endorsement deals, and drawing record ratings in the WNBA. On the other end, you see her commenting under her brother's post about an old dog, saying "love you both" like anyone else would, and announcing that her season is over because her body gave out before her will did. There's a temptation, especially with players who blow up as fast as she did, to treat them like characters in a story rather than like people. Moments like these push back against that instinct. They remind viewers that behind the stat sheets, there are families, pets, injuries, private tears, and quiet nights where the hardest work being done has nothing to do with shooting or dribbling. For Colin, the Instagram post was likely a way to say a proper goodbye to Bella and to mark that loss in a way that people who know him and people who have followed his sister's journey could understand. It struck a chord because everyone has, or will eventually have, their own "so long, my friend" moment with a dog, a cat, or someone else who carried them through tough times. For Caitlin, dropping into the comments with a couple of short lines is how she shows up for her brother publicly while dealing with her own private rehab grind. She doesn't need to write a long essay for people to understand what that dog meant. The favorite photo comment and the "love you both" is enough. It has been a season full of physical setbacks and emotional moments for Caitlin Clark. The quadriceps injury against New York, the groin issue against Connecticut, the indefinite sidelining, the season-ending announcement in early September, and now, watching her brother say goodbye to Bella online. None of these things are related in the way fans track wins and losses, but together they form the kind of year that tests someone well beyond their shot mechanics. The good news, if you can call it that, is that she's 22, not 32. There is time. Time to heal the groin. Time to build strength. So the quad isn't as vulnerable the next go-round. Time to process grief and come back to the game with a fresh perspective. And if anything, the support she and Colin are getting in a pretty simple Instagram comment section shows how many people are quietly rooting for them off the court as much as on it. In a sports world where everything is highlights, hot takes, and contracts, this little window into the Clark family's life, a kid with his golden retriever, a grown man saying goodbye to that same dog years later, a sister who happens to be one of the most watched players in basketball stepping in and say, "Love you both," feels like a reminder of why fans connected with Caitlin in the first place. Yes, it's the deep threes and the competitive fire, but it's also because underneath all of that, there's still a Midwestern family going through the same heartbreaks everyone else does. Her season may have ended earlier than anyone wanted, with that September 5th announcement to shut it down. Colin's time with Bella ended too soon for his liking. But both stories sit right next to each other as proof that life doesn't pause just because the schedule does. And for followers of Caitlin Clark, seeing her show up in her brother's grief even as she deals with her own frustrations only deepens a sense that this is someone worth watching long after her next shot falls.